Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special live today. I have a very special guest, and she is super well known in our community, the fertility community, and is Karen Jeffries from Hilariously Infertile. That's her account, and also she is the author of the book Hilariously Infertile. So, hello, everyone. Hi, Karen, she's here. So let's start right now with her. And she's gonna be joining all the everyone. So we are waiting for Karen to get connected. It's connecting.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. First of all, thank you so much for accepting my invitation to this. I'm so happy and honored to have you with me here. And well, I was chasing after you for a while. Then I was like thinking how to connect with you, and eventually I sent you an email. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
No, Karen. Listen, so I am an infertility warrior like you. I went through 5 cycles of IVF. And when I found your account, when I started, to go into this Instagram and doing my coaching, I was like cracking up the way that you approach it. Because, we need so much to laugh.
Yeah.
And to bring some kind of fun into our journey. And because it's stressful, so we kind of focus on the opposite. And we never think that we can make fun of it. So before anything, I want you, well, most of the followers that I have and most of our community knows you because you have a big amount of followers. But, every day our community is growing. There is a lot of new people. So if you can introduce yourself, I would, I think that people will like to hear from you, who you are, and how you became so active in this community independently from being yourself walking that path.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, you're right. This is such, going through infertility is such a difficult time in people's lives. And it is important. Everyone always asks me, they're like, is infertility funny? And I'm like, no, it's not funny. But there are some funny aspects. So my name is Karen Jeffries, and I am the author and creator of Hilariously Infertile, the website, the book. I have a book, I have merchandise, and I also have social media platforms. And then before COVID, I had just started doing like some stand-up comedy infertility events, and the proceeds of those events went to an multiple infertilities of nonprofits. So I'm also a 4th grade school teacher, dual language, Spanish and English. So I know, si usted prefiere, podemos hacer toda esta entrevista en español, but I think you'd probably prefer to do it in English for your followers. But
oh my God, you speak so good.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Oh, wow, Karen, I didn't even know that you speak Spanish. No, you know what I want to do? I want to start to, approach my main, my mother language community, but because I live here in the States, so it's the main language. But definitely I will, we're going to fix another one with you in Spanish.
Okay,
because there's
definitely.
a lot of Latin women here. So thank you so much for your introduction. As you mentioned, it's really a very difficult journey. But now that you're introduced yourself, so look, everyone, I'm going to make probably next month a giveaway from this amazing book, which I am starting to, to read it. And it's insane. It's so good. Yes. Just this little green part. I was reading it today with my husband, and we were both cracking up. He was like, we never thought about that, when we went to the doctor. So now I want you to tell us about your journey. How, besides, you took it in a very different approach, the funny way, which is incredible. But people also want to know your struggle, how it was, how it started, and, when it started.
Yes. Okay. So So I have PCOS, which stands
Okay.
for polycystic ovarian syndrome. So I had no idea that I had PCOS prior to my husband and I starting to try to conceive. Like I had no clue. I had been on the pill for a number of years, and I just had no idea. So we started to have unprotected sex. I wasn't getting my period, and I just remember being like, "Wait a second, like when you have unprotected sex and you don't get your period, that means you're pregnant, right?" And I was like, what's happening? Like, it was crazy how much I didn't know about like the whole process and like my body.
Yeah.
So a number of months went by, and then I went to my OBGYN and she was like, this isn't normal. So she started me on Clomid
Yeah.
and intercourse. Nothing happened. Next month, another round of Clomid. And after that one, she said she left me a voicemail on like a Friday afternoon at like 4:45 and
Mhm.
was like, I think that you have PCOS and you should go to the fertility clinic down the street. And then she said, and it's Friday. I won't be back in the office until Monday morning. And I was like, what? Like,
Oh my
and so
God.
I went home. I was living in the city at the time. I went home and I started Googling it. And I was like, all you could see is like the only thing that came up was infertility, trouble getting pregnant, unable to, to maintain a pregnancy. I mean, it was like everything. And I lost my mind,
Of course.
you
How
know?
she could do that?
I know. I don't know. I
I'm
don't know.
sorry to tell you that, but how she could do that? It's like I would shoot myself with a banana. What is this? I will
I
get
know.
crazy.
I know. I actually went nuts. And so then I started calling the fertility clinic and we started, getting an appointment and things like that. And my fertility doctor was great. And he told me that, what PCOS is
Mm-hmm.
and how I have a lot of eggs, but no one egg can become dominant and then, ovulate. Am I breaking up with you a little bit or
No,
no?
no, I
Okay.
hear you clearly, and I think that people is hearing you clearly
Okay. Just
because
want to
if
make
not,
sure.
they will tell us in the comments. It's
Okay.
perfect.
Okay, good. So he started me on IUIs, the insemination and
Yeah.
Clomid. First month, nothing happened. The second month, I actually had an IUI on the same day that my nephew was born 5 weeks premature, and I had to like fly out to Chicago to go see him, which was really stressful. But that ended up being my first daughter, Zoe, who is now in third grade,
Oh,
which is crazy.
she was IUI.
She was IUI.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is like not very common. Like I'm
No, it's
like
not.
everyone I talk to is like, no one we know has gotten pregnant with an IUI. Like
I
it's
tell you that the same. And I
yeah,
know the community and all of that you always hear is more IVF, IUI. So it's always that something doctors don't recommend too much
yeah,
because it's go into the fallopian tube and then it needs to travel. So wow,
yeah.
and is now your first daughter?
That was my first daughter, yeah. And she's going to be 8 in November,
Oh my gosh.
which is crazy.
Yes.
And then when she turned about like 18 months or two, we decided we wanted to start trying again. We went straight back to the fertility clinic because our doctor said there's no point in us trying at home.
Okay.
And we started again with IUIs. I did 5 IUIs. Well, it was 4 IUIs, but 5 rounds of Clomid because the first round, nothing happened.
Uh-huh.
And after my fourth failed IUI, I decided, and my husband supported me, that I wanted to go forward with IVF. I just felt that if it was going to happen, it would have happened already. And what's weird is I learned later that like the statistics support me on that. Like the science actually supported my gut instinct.
Yes.
And so we did a round of IVF and we got 33 follicles.
Wow.
I know. I was
That's
really
amazing.
sore. I was really, really sore. And my 33 follicles turned into 17 day 5 blastocysts,
Wow.
which we implanted one and we saved the rest. And that is my second daughter.
So
Yeah.
you have two daughters. One
Mm-hmm.
is IUI, your second is IVF,
Yeah.
and then you saved 16 eggs.
Yeah. Embryos. Yeah.
Embryos. Oh yes, 5. So blastocysts. So they are
Mm-hmm.
now frozen.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow, that's an incredible number.
I know, it's crazy. And I didn't know. Okay, so this is, and then like I wasn't on social media. I didn't even have a Facebook account. Like I still don't have a personal Facebook account. Like I didn't have any of it. And this whole time I was just kind of going through this, I don't want to say alone, because I had like really great support. I had really great friends and family, but like no one that I knew was going through this at the time. It was really just me and like a couple of coworkers. Then when I was on maternity leave with my second daughter, I was helping some other people through their cycles, and my husband said, "I think that you should write a book." And I was like, "Ha ha, that's ridiculous. Like, I don't even have time to read books." And I like went and got a glass of wine and sat on the couch. And I don't know how much soon after that, but I opened up my laptop one day and I just started writing. And so everyone thinks that like the social media came first and then the book, but it was actually, the book came in like 5 weeks. I was done.
Really?
Yeah. And then I knew I could help people. Like I was like, this is great. It's snarky and it's inappropriate, but it's the way that real women talk when real women are with each other, you know?
Yes,
And
you're right. You're right.
and so because I said to my husband, I'm like, and he's like, this is a little bit like not what I was expecting. And I was like, I know, but babe, like I can go to a restaurant, you know, when we could go to restaurants, I was like, I can go to a restaurant and talk with my girlfriends about like vaginal discharge until I'm blue in the face. Like men aren't like that. Like they're not. Like we talk about sex more, we talk about bodily things more, like we just talk about it more, and they just don't, you know? So I knew I could help people. So I started trying to get the book published. I realized that I don't know anyone in publishing. You can't get it published if you don't know anyone. So that's when I started the social media to build up the audience and, to be honest, to help people. Because I was like, I want to help people now. I don't want to wait for this moment that might not ever come if like a publisher discovers me, you know?
Yes.
And so that's when I started the social media accounts on a suggestion of a friend of mine who was like, you need to get on social media. And I was like, ew, no, I hate social media. and then everything just kind of blew up. And I realized with the response of my followers and with the response of emails and messages from people all over the world have been like, you helped me through this, and you helped me through this, and you brought me back together with my partner or with my best friend or whoever, you know? And I think and that's when I realized that that there is really a need for this.
There is definitely. And, you know, your social media is, you know, I see other fertility coaches, other fertility authors like me, you know, we have a very unique approach, each of us. But yours is incredible because it's all about humor. I love the fact that you say, these are not my pictures, whatever,
Yeah.
you know, like it's not me. And you make it clear. Just there is like, you laugh, you know, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so funny. And your approach is different because with one picture, you kind of hit in the nail with each post that you have. And I even don't even know how you handle, because you have over almost 80,000 followers.
Yeah.
And you are a teacher because you work still, you know, no matter what now with this COVID or whatever, now things are slowly going back to half normal. So you go back, you have 2 children. Yeah. So how you do that? Because there is girls who say, okay, she helps us, you know, she helps our community. Not only our community of infertility women and couples, but also us as coaches and authors. You know, we look up to you. I do that. No, really, you know, because we are always looking to learn and to share and to collaborate. I tell you something, Karen, I don't look at competition. I always look to collaborate. You ask me something, I will be there. If I know something, I will tell you perfectly. I help you as fellow partner, fellow author, fellow coach. The same with the women, you know. So how you can handle all of this, mommy, teacher, work, fertility, and your community, because, you know, your followers are most people that have these infertility issues.
Yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot. I'm not going to lie. This year, this September, I just decided that I was taking the year off because I need to teach my girls, because they're in kindergarten and in 3rd grade. And even though they are in schools, you know, they're doing distance learning and remote learning, and they need a teacher to be with them. You know, we had childcare, and I just felt really strongly that they need a teacher, because especially my older one, like she's out of the classroom 3 out of the 5 days. I'm like, that's 3/5 of her education this year is at home. Like she needs a teacher at home. So I do have to say that's making it a little bit easier, because it's what teachers are doing right now is incredible and amazing. And I feel really guilty that I'm not doing that, because I'm like up for the challenge and I would love to be there doing it. But at the same time, I know that I need to be here with my children.
Of course.
But there's a lot of guilt there. But on a regular year, because I've been doing this now for over 4 years. So on a regular year, I just triage. Like that's what I just do. Like when I'm at work, and that's all I care about is work and my students and everything. And then after work, I have like some like where things mingle, where it's like schoolwork and Hilariously Infertile. I might take some, work calls. I might do this. And then once I walk into my house, I am all my children for the next, like however many hours that is, 2-3 hours. I don't check emails. I don't do this. I don't do anything. And then once they go to bed, then I'll either spend time with my husband or go back to either schoolwork or Hilariously Infertile. And that's just how it works. I tend to do a lot of my content creating is actually in bed between the hours of like 10 and 11 or 11:15. My husband's asleep, and that's when I find the time to reply to people's DMs, to, email back, or, which I'm actually really bad at email back, but mostly replying to people's DMs. And that's when I create a lot of the memes, a lot of the gifts or whatever people want to call them. So that's when I do it. But the hardest part for me was like in the end of the school year 2020. I mean 2019, and like October, November 2019, because I was doing those comedy events and I was doing everything. And like I'm not an event planner. Like I don't know how to do that. So I was doing the corporate sponsors and the venue and the ticketing and the merchandise and like the step and repeat that's supposed to go behind you and like all this stuff. And that was when it was getting like a lot, so but then COVID happened and everything shut down. So I don't have to worry about that anymore. But, it is like, I just try to be as present as I am when I'm there. And there are months and people know this who email me, like, most people will say, are you going to be able to do stuff with Hilariously Infertile in September? And I'm like, September sucks. So no, when you're a school teacher, like it's hard. You have back to school night for my kids. I have this, I have that. Like, it's just a lot. I obviously maintain the posts all the time. However, I'll tell them like, this is just not a good month for me. So I can't guarantee that I'm gonna get back to you,
Yes.
So I just constantly triage, and you just do the best you can every day. And if, you don't get it done today, you'll get it done tomorrow. But there's a quote, and I forget who it's from. I think it's from like Benjamin Franklin or something like that. That's like, why put off until tomorrow what can be done today? And I've like really internalized that, not just as a mom, when it's like, why am I going to put off the laundry? I'm just gonna do it now. Let's just do it now. Just do it now. So I really internalized that as a mom, but also as an entrepreneur and as a teacher. Like, just get it done. Tomorrow's going to have its own crap that comes along with tomorrow. So like, just get it done. And then like, and to be honest, you feel better at the end of the day. So that's how I handle it.
Yes. And, this made me think about the other question, because I got some questions on my email regarding you, because it's also had to do with the time. So you told us about how you handle your amazing work that you love, because it comes from your own journey too. Now, they asked me how you did and how you have been doing to hold a relationship, how fertility can affect our relationship between our partner and us. There is a lot of stories and a lot of true stories that, they try everything, they have a baby, then they get divorced, or then they don't have a baby, and then they get separated. How you have done that with all the issues that came after the children came, and now with your work, how you managed to, to have that little bubble of love still and running?
That's such a great question. Thank you so much. And I love that question too, because it does really recognize that my husband and I, we do have a really, really great relationship. And not to say that there aren't days where he wants to kill me and I want to kill him, because I make him out. We're human. So I think for us, when we were going through infertility, there was a number of factors that made it a little bit easier for us. One, I have incredible health insurance. And so the financial issue wasn't as, I mean, we still had to pay, you know, some deductibles and things like that, but it wasn't as big of an issue as it is for some people who are like mortgaging their house or
Yeah.
selling, you know, or moving into a smaller house or selling a car or getting more jobs in order to pay for infertility treatments, which is like just so heartbreaking to me. So that was a big, just like off the bat, like we didn't have to worry about that. Second, we have a really, really, really great relationship. Like we just really love each other. He brings out the funny in me. Like we're always joking around. We're always just having so much fun. So there's that. But also, and I think this is important too, is that when we started realizing that that like having intercourse was never going to get us pregnant, it really like alleviated a lot of the stress with
Yeah.
intercourse for us. Because
Absolutely.
like in all those months where we were just trying on our own, it was like so stressful and not fun. And I'd be like, oh, I'm ovulating, which I was never ovulating, by the way. I'm ovulating and my temperature is this, which like it was always fake. Like it was always wrong because I never ovulated during that time. Or I think I maybe ovulated once, but it just, you know, I think that once we realized that intercourse isn't going to be the way that we're going to get pregnant, that we have to have medical intervention, that made it just go back to just being fun. You
Yes, to
know,
enjoy.
like,
You're right.
yeah, like there's no pressure. Like, let's just
Yes.
like have fun. And I think that that's really important because there's so much pressure when it comes to, oh, are you doing it this time or get home from work or I have something tonight, but you don't, and all this stuff. And then the positioning and just everything. It's just
Yeah,
like,
keep your legs up after he comes and all of that. It's
it's like the
crazy.
stupidest thing, you know? And so I think for us, it was actually really helpful that we were just like, okay, now sex can be sex and it can be fun.
Yes.
And infertility treatments can be infertility treatments, which are not fun. And we can separate the two, you know? And I think that actually was really a big savior for us. So yeah, I think also like after having kids, I think what, you know, people, forget about, and I actually did an article about this for New York Times Parenting, where I was quoted in the article that, you know, humans are so habitual, right? Like we have
Yes.
habits, we have so
Yes.
many habits, and really it's all about healthy habits and unhealthy habits. So like we all get up, we brush our teeth because we're all in that habit, you know? So once you start doing something again and again and again, it kind of becomes more of a habit. And so kind of like going to the gym, like that first day you're going back to the gym, you don't want to go. The second day you probably don't want to go. The third day you probably don't want to go. Maybe on like the 20th day, you're like, I kind of really want to go to the gym, you
Yes.
know?
Yes.
So I think that in the bedroom it's the same way. Like you have like, you know, if like maybe if after a long time you maybe don't want to, but then once you start doing, you know, having more intercourse or more stuff going on in the bedroom and then more, then you'll be like, I kind of really want that. The same way that
Yes.
you kind of like now want to go to the gym because it's getting you kind of into that habit. And not to say that it's like, you know, obligatory like going to the gym or anything like that, but you know what I mean? It's just the way that you look at it can be, and for us, like we, you know, having that grown up time, which is what I, you know, having that time as a couple, I think is so important. And I think that couples really underestimate how important, you know, being connected
Together.
sexually is. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that that's one of the reasons that, you know, like you see today a lot of couples that after 30 years of marriage, oh, they got divorced. And you say, but how? They are 30 years together. So they kind of miss that piece of the puzzle because they focus only, like you said, it's a habit, only on the kids, kids, kids.
Yeah.
So kids and college and school and this and that. And then they send the kids. And if they don't have kids, they focus on other stuff like work, work, work. And
Mm-hmm.
then after 20 years, they look at each other and it's like, who are you?
Yeah.
It's like you need to start to fall in love again of a person
Mm-hmm.
that you don't know. So
Yeah.
I am totally agree with you. We, you know, with my husband, we had our times of crisis too. You know, when I had the stillbirth, baby was one that is a big one because men cope different than us
Yes.
women. So then you start to think why he's not doing what I'm doing, why he's not feeling the grieving the way I'm feeling, and
Yes.
that can create so
Well,
much.
and yeah, and people grieve like at different times, you know.
Yes.
So you're like he's ready to laugh about something, you're not ready to laugh about something, and then you're pissed at him, you know, and then yeah. I
It's
get that.
creating a mess. Now, there is another thing. Hold on. I was thinking about it. Is the couple. Yes, I remember now. So you mentioned, so PCOS, it
Mm-hmm.
was what you were diagnosed. A lot of women, that have PCOS, and I have one actually. She was, she's a friend from Hawaii, and she had that. Eventually, she got pregnant naturally. Are you, for example, because you could get pregnant naturally, right?
Yeah, I mean, technically, yes, not until PCOS is weird. It's like a young person's like disease. So
Yes.
I don't ovulate. So if you don't ovulate, you can't get pregnant. However, typically, and I want to say typically because I am not a doctor, so but
Yes.
what I've
Yes.
been told is that typically women are more afflicted with this disease and affected with this disease between like teenage years and 40, their early 40s.
Yes.
Once you get past that, people, women start ovulating. Like they just start ovulating. Most, and this again, I'm not a doctor, but my understanding is just that because like your egg reserve kind of is going away anyway, so you have less crowding. Like this is your ovary, you have a lot less crowding there.
Yes.
So I know one of my family members, she has PCOS, and like she had to go through infertility treatments for all of her children. And now she's in her mid 40s and she's like, I'm more fertile now than I've ever been, which is like so backwards in so many people's minds.
Yes.
However, it is possible, but unlikely. But for example, my husband and I, we are using other, forms of precaution to make sure because we, financially we want to keep our family where it is right now.
Of
But
course,
yes,
yes,
yeah,
yes, me too. Like I understand that 100%. I have my both fallopian tubes blocked, and today I'm like, thank God, you send me with natural birth control. I don't
yeah,
need to take pills, nothing. I'm gonna be 48 in January, and then one time my husband is like, what if I'm like, please, Sipet, don't even throw it to the
yeah.
universe
And
because
I know
you
what
know
if it's. I mean, it is
it is
technically
possible.
possible.
You never in a million things, but
Yeah.
it's scare me, because come on, if I'm 48, then I count. It's nothing to do with the fact of motherhood. It's just that I also think what your children and all of that.
Exactly.
So
Yeah. And how old do you want to be when they're in kindergarten or when they're graduating from
exactly.
high school? Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yes, it is.
Yeah.
All of that is very important because you want to not to be young forever for them, but you want to have the energy. I'm
Right.
sometimes my little one is the age of your older one. She's
Yeah.
7, and when I'm putting her to sleep, I still spoil her, and she's like, "Mama, a piggyback." And trust me, sometimes
Yeah.
I take it, and I'm like going upstairs, and I'm like, "Oh my God, that
Yeah.
age is kind of a start to my knees and this and
Yeah.
that."
Yeah.
Yes.
I get that.
So I want from you
Mhm.
what you can give to our community, to the women and men, because male factor
Yeah.
is also there.
Yes.
People don't talk too much about it. They don't like to talk much about it for whatever the reason it is. So some men is starting to open up about it. I love that. I've seen some accounts, testimonials, and
Mm-hmm.
stories. What would be your message for all this community that is trying to conceive, is going through medical treatment, and to ease that? Why to ease it? Why to make it a little bit better? Because you've been there and you
Yeah.
choose that path of let's make it fun. How they can take a piece of that from you to learn and apply it a little bit in their journey.
That's such a great question. So yeah, so I think that's one of the reasons why I started this, and I'm sure that you kind of feel similar, is because I didn't have this. Like I wish I had hilariously infertile when I was going through this because I was just like I didn't have anything. Um, so my one thing that I always say is, I'm not the type of person who's going to sit here and say it's all going to work out. Everything's going to work out because I don't know that to be true. And I think that's condescending, like that it might not necessarily work out. However, the one thing that I have learned from doing Hilariously Infertile and from talking to hundreds, if not thousands of different men and women all over the globe is that you are way, way stronger than your infertility. And I think people don't realize that because there are days when you get knocked down, when I got knocked down, and I would just like I drank a whole bottle of wine one night and I was like, like, and
Yes.
I owned that and I was in it, and I'm not saying to not experience that. If you're knocked down, like I don't want to say soak it in, but feel all those feelings that you're supposed to
Yes,
feel.
you're right.
However, know that like, especially women, but men too, are so much stronger than this. And whatever you have to go to get through this, you're going to look back on it and you're going to be like, wow, like I'm freaking amazing. Like, I can't believe I went through that. And I can't believe I did this. And whatever your outcome is at the end, and wherever that gets you, just know that you are way stronger than this medical diagnosis. And you'll have good days, you'll have bad days, but just know that like you're just badass and you can do this if you choose to, you know, that you can definitely do this.
Yes, is that, listen, I love your message because you say everything. Allow to feel the feelings, don't drown in them because
Yeah.
we choose definitely. You know, pain is pain. We know that
Yeah.
pain exists and that, but suffering, and I learned that, look, I learned it. I thought that I will not make it after my stillbirth.
Yeah.
Trust me, I tell everybody openly because I've been there. I thought in every single possibility to take my own life because the emotional pain was crazy. And I didn't do it because of what you just said, because it's a choice.
Yep.
You know, I saw there was no choice. There was everything I possible could think. It didn't work. Or
Yeah.
I will say, what? No, I can't because I'm scared from this. I mean, something always, and you are right. We look back and I am like, how I am here now.
Right.
So
And
it's
that has now made you so much stronger for anything else that comes. You're like, I can literally get through any, if I got through that, I can get through anything.
yes, yes, that's what it is. So someone says here before, because I don't
Yeah.
want to ignore anyone. She say Tracy 2180 Hilariously Infertile Instagram account kept me sane during IVF treatments. May take a minute to not take everything seriously and to have a good laugh. Oh my gosh, yes, she is so right. Like I told you in the beginning, I've been following you for a while, probably for 2.5 years, and I was always like, she's all over the place. I don't think she's gonna answer to me. And
Of course.
and I said, you know what? Yes, that's it. Waited 2 years to
Yeah.
finally jump on that. All comes with the time that it's supposed to come.
Yeah.
Karen, listen, thank you so much. I will want to have you again because I received yesterday 2 emails from some of my followers, also, you know, patients that are going to jump into IVF, and they have a specific questions, but you know, I don't want to soak you with all of that, so we can coordinate when you have time. I know you
Okay.
are super busy teacher, and I want to do definitely one in Spanish.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we have to. Yeah.
Yes. So
I don't
you
know how
were,
good my medical Spanish is, like my fourth grade Spanish and all that stuff is really good. But if I can get through parent teacher conferences, then I'm very good.
if you teach Spanish in classrooms, trust me,
Yeah.
that's the Spanish that we need. You
Yeah.
know, I also don't know medical Spanish. Sometimes I hear things, and I am from Colombia, and it's like Chinese.
Yeah.
Technical language is very difficult. When
Yeah.
we talk like, you know, our normal language is
Yeah.
so easy. So thank you so much again for being with me. I really feel very honored that you accept, you know, to have this live with me. Is touching, makes me laugh, and I love to give people in our community this sense of that we can make it. Like you said,
Yeah.
that no matter what the end result is, whatever it is, we're going to see that we are strong, and we are, for some reason they say, okay, we are fertility warriors, right?
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. We definitely need to do the next one in Spanish, and definitely email me. Like I tell everyone, I'm like, email me. Like I'm a real person. I'm like, there's no one else. Like it's just me. So, you know, email me and whatever you guys need. And thank you so much for inviting me. This was so great.
Oh, thank you so
It's
much.
like
We
we're like old
appreciate it.
girlfriends already. I love it.
Yes, no, yes. And, you know, we live very, very close. You know, we need to set something like apart and have a brunch together, get together
For
a little
sure.
bit better. Okay. Thank you
Definitely.
so much.
Thank you.
Everyone, goodbye. And thank you for being with us.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye. Thank you.